Hi, everybody. Mr. Schoenbach here. In a normal world, breathing is something that we work on all the time in the band room. How to get the most in, so how you can get the most out. How to do it effectively, how to do it in a way that you're going to be able to take the maximum amount of breath you possibly can and without any restrictions here, so you get the most out, and how to control all the aspects of that. But in our current pandemic world, where all we do is we see you on a screen and we're not really able to interact with you in the same way, this has definitely been something that's gone by the wayside. And I was thinking to myself over the weekend, something that I used to do with my private lesson students all the time is some fun ways to work on your breathing and your control and the amount of breath you're actually taking in kind of a fun way that's not just you sitting there going, just something kind of boring. This is kind of a fun way for you to work on this. All you need for these two activities we're going to do today is a simple sheet of paper and a Kleenex. The first one we're going to do, you need a sheet of paper, and any kind of piece of notebook paper, scratch paper will do. I'm going to use this drawing that my daughter did of two narwhals dancing. Okay, as you can see, very, very good. So this is what I'm going to use. And all you need is a wall. So you need a piece of paper and you need a wall. So I'm here in my living room. I got a little wall here. I've got my piece of paper. And very, very simple. You're going to take a big breath in. And when you breathe, I'm nice and chubby, so it's easy to see. But when you breathe in, I want you to work on getting your entire lungs to expand. Normally, when you take a breath, you're really only using this part of the lungs. Think about when you're walking down the hallway at school, back when we had school, or think about when you're sitting there watching TV, texting on your phone. You don't need to have your whole lungs used in that situation. So you're really only using this part of the lungs up here. Your lungs are actually these two ginormous balloons that go way down here. So for the purpose of this activity, I want you to work on using everything. So I want you to work on pushing your stomach out when you're breathing, your chest, your shoulders, your back, everything is going to follow so you can get the maximum amount of expansion on these two lung balloons. Let's do a couple of these exercises just to try it. Put your hands here and let's go. And try to make it as silent as possible. I'm trying to be a little louder just so you can hear it. In the real world, you don't want to have hardly any sound at all. You want to have a nice open breath without any restrictions. When you hear there's a lot of restriction there. You don't want to hear that kind of sound. You want it as open as possible. Let's do a few more of these. Put your hand on your stomach. Here we go again. You ready? You kind of see I'm kind of purposely pushing my stomach out there. Now, because I've been playing for so long, I don't have to think about my stomach going out. When I take a big breath, normally when I'm holding my trombone, which is my chosen instrument, when I breathe, it's a nice big one. Everything expands normally because I've just done it that way so many times. This might be something you yourself need to think about, especially since we've been away from school for so long and you've been doing so many non-band things that have probably put you in the bad habit of only using this part of your lungs. So here's the purpose of this exercise. I really want you to really work on popping that stomach out there. And you kind of see if I do it in slow motion here, everything's kind of expanding. That's kind of weird, but you know what I'm saying. Just trying to get everything expanded, okay? So once you've done that a few times, let's use our piece of paper. And all I'm going to try to do is stick this piece of paper to the wall without touching it. When I used to do this for the first time with my private lesson students, I would say, okay, I want you to go to the wall and I want you to make this piece of paper stick to the wall without touching it. I would almost always get something hilarious like this. We're actually talking about using your breath only, okay? So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take a huge breath in, and I want you to breathe as hard as you can out, as small of a hole as you can. The more focus you have, the longer you're going to be able to keep that piece of paper stuck to the wall. So here's me doing it once. Okay, let's try it again. Big breath in. Okay, so I'll let you try that a few times yourself. And once you've done that, the next step is try to breathe and stick it up there. As it starts to fall, take another huge breath in and stick it up there again. Hopefully I can do it myself. Let's give it a try. I did like 2.5 times in there, okay? So a great goal is just to do it 2 times. You might even need to drop your body down a little bit. It starts to fall a little bit too fast, then drop your body down and see if you can stick it up there again. But the key is not necessarily how fast you do it, but what kind of quality you've gotten. A nice big quality breath, you're gonna have a nice full set of lungs even on your second time, and you're gonna be able to stick it to the wall just fine. So that's your first exercise. Let's go over for exercise number 2. So this one, you need a little bit of a taller ceiling. Normally, I've been doing my teaching in the basement downstairs, and the ceiling there is pretty small. So I need to come out here to my kitchen where I've got a little bit of a taller ceiling. And this is the exercise you need. A very simple Kleenex is all you need, okay? Most Kleenex is 2-ply. And what that means is it's actually 2 sheets of paper that are kind of, knit together. I don't know what they actually do to stick it together, some kind of glue or something. So I want you to take your Kleenex and separate that, okay? So you've got one side and 2 sides. One side you're not going to need at all. The other side is what we're going to work with. And once you've got that 1-ply of Kleenex, you're just going to take a corner, just a little piece, like 1 by 1, very informal, a little square like this, okay? And I'm going to back up a little bit so you can see. And all I want you to do is just try this a couple times. Same huge breath in as we did over when we were working on our paper activity. Take a huge breath in. Once you've got your breath in, I want you to put the piece of paper out over your lips, and I want you to blow as hard as you can out and get it to go up as high as you can. We used to do this in the band room at the school I used to teach lessons at, and the ceilings were very, very tall. We're talking like maybe 10 feet above head level, and our goal was always to try to get the piece of paper all the way up to the ceiling, and usually we could do it. My stronger students could do it. Okay, your house probably doesn't have ceilings quite that high, so a good goal is to get your piece of paper all the way to the ceiling. Okay, so let's try it once real fast before we do the rest of the exercise. Here we go again. Breathe. Okay, and hit the ceiling, no problem. Okay, let's do 1 or 2 more times. Breathe in, and then put the paper there. I had several students that tried to breathe with the paper here, and they sucked it into their mouth, and I even had a couple students actually suck it all the way into their throats and swallow the piece of paper. Paper's not the worst thing in the world to swallow, but let's just avoid swallowing the Kleenex, shall we? So breath in, paper on the lips, breathe it out. Here we go again. That was a good one. It really stuck to the ceiling, okay? So now the twist that we're gonna add is when it starts to fall, take another breath in and see if you can keep it up in the air, okay? I'm gonna try to do this a couple times. Again, the band room I used to teach at with very tall ceilings, we used to be able to go 15 or 20 times in a row. The ceiling's a little shorter, so you might not be able to do that many times before it starts to fall really fast. Let's see if we can get at least a couple in a row here, shall we? Here we go. And I had to go a little bit off camera, but you get the picture here, okay? If my ceiling was a little bit taller, I might be able to get it to go more straight up in the air. Let me try it one more time here. Here we go. Okay, so let it go a little bit off kilter, but you get the gist of it. So those are a couple fun breathing activities for you to do on your own to try to get a lot of lung power going on and try to resist the temptation to only use, again, this small part of your lungs and try to really use the entire thing. So hopefully that was helpful for you today. Thanks.